Welcome to another edition of IMO Sports with Pedro Justice. Today has been a day of exciting news. By now, you've heard that Errol Spence said that if he and Terence Crawford fight, it's going to be a 50-50 split. No, that's not what he said. He said 60-40. I'm the pay-per-view star, basically. Even Bob Arum, his own promoter, said that he's not even promotable. He is losing me money. Do you agree? Do you think that Errol Spence is such a much bigger star that he's a pay-per-view star based on the numbers now in comparison to Terence Crawford? Well, if you know Terence Crawford, he's not going to take that line down. And so let's see what Terence responded back to. Well, look like that fight will never happen, referring to the fight with Errol Spence. Terence Crawford saying, I am not going to take a 40% when I'm Terence Crawford. Bud goes on to say, I see a lot of y'all really don't know about boxing, about nothing. Y'all just repeating what y'all heard or seen from somebody that don't know about boxing. Say or post about that they don't know, so they makes all y'all look stupid. Shaking my head, crying emojis. Then Terrence says, 99% of the people that always have a negative comment can't even fight in real life. Crying emojis. But they say you scared to fight this and that guy when they can't last 3 rounds. Crying emojis. I'm done. Then an hour ago, Terence Crawford said, it's crazy when somebody tell you to take less money when you putting yours life and health on the line. But I bet if I went to any one of y'all jobs and said cut they pay and pay them less, y'all cry a river and say y'all need a new job. So shut that stupid up. This is your pound for pound champion per ESPN #1 pound for pound, Terence Crawford, saying, Errol, stop playing with me. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. He's basically saying, how am I the best boxer in the world, pound for pound? And you think that I'm not going to get a 50-50 split? I'm pretty sure in his mind, he thinks he should get 60%. You remember when they met in the hallway? It was epic. You remember that happening. Do you think that Errol Spence and Bud were talking about, hey, man, you going to take this 60-40? Of course not. No way was Bud talking about that. They're going at it about am I too little, too big? They're going at it because Bud Crawford believes in his skills and he knows that he is the man. Terence Crawford will back down from no man, no person or thing. Terence Crawford is like, hey, man, I've been winning belts, multiple divisions. If I retired right now, I would be a Hall of Fame boxer. So why do you believe that I should take the smaller amount? It doesn't even make sense. I don't even want to entertain that. You see that I put in work. You know what I do. I fought Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn, who cheated Manny Pacquiao. Any person that thinks that Jeff Horn actually beat Manny Pacquiao, they don't know nothing about boxing. Bow! Look at that on that jaw. Ooh! Boom! Terence Crawford's like, man, I am the most skilled boxer out there. All I do is beat everybody they put in front of me. That's all I do. Now, Bob Arum, on the other hand, he loves Terence Crawford, doesn't he? He really loves him. He says, if Terence Crawford doesn't, then who the F needs him? He may be the greatest fighter in the world, but hey, I ain't going bankrupt promoting him. The question is, do we at Top Rank want to keep Terence Crawford? I could build a house in Beverly Hills on the money I've lost on Terence Crawford in the last 3 fights. A beautiful home. So his own promoter, Bob Arum, is taking shots at Terence Crawford. What do you guys think about that? Do you believe that Terence Crawford is getting the raw end of the deal from everybody? I mean, let's think about it. Your own promoter who's promoting your fights is telling the world that he's losing money on your fights. How is that possible? And you're saying, as Terence Crawford, I will not take a pay cut at all. Because basically, Bob Arum at Top Rank runs a very tight ship. The money has to be allocated correctly. And in order to appease you, he's been paying you what you wanted, but he's saying that the fights are not bringing in enough money. And so Errol Spence is saying, even your own promoter is telling us that you're not making the money. So it should be 60-40 my way, because I'm going to bring more cachet. I'm going to bring more attention to this fight. And I've been on pay-per-view and you've been on pay-per-view. And who did better the 2 times I was on pay-per-view versus the 2 times you were on pay-per-view? That is what one Errol Spence is saying. Basically, he's saying, I fought people, whoever you fought. The people you fought, you did good. I did good. But I've done better because now people know who I am. Floyd, I've sparred Floyd. I've been associated with Floyd, Broner, Gervonta. I was in this horrific car accident, and now I'm back. And all I got to do now is take care of Danny Garcia. And then I want to clean out the 147-pound division and be the undisputed champ at 147. And Terence Crawford is in my way. So when it's time to get to Terence Crawford, it's going to be a 60-40 split. That is what Errol Spence is saying. And Bud Crawford is saying, no good, no bueno. I don't like that. That's not what I signed up for. I'm not the best out there, and I'm going to be taking less money. Do you believe that this fight should be 50-50? Do you think this should be a 50-50 split? Based on paper, based on their credentials, based on how good both fighters are, 50-50 seems very fair to me. But I can see where he's coming from as far as pay-per-view wise. He has done the better numbers. And that because Bud Crawford kind of keeps to himself, he's a family man. He doesn't come out and rah, rah, rah. He doesn't go on social media necessarily unless he's responding to someone to rah, rah, rah. He's more low key. And with that being said, his own promoter is saying, hey, man, you need to step it up, Terence Crawford, because you're losing me money during this pandemic. I can't even do the Wilder Fury fight because I can't afford to lose any more money. I can't afford to lose any more money. I have to make sure that this fight has money secured. Listen, your own promoter, who does this? If Terence Crawford doesn't, then who needs him? He may be the greatest fighter in the world, so he acknowledges his boxing skill and talent. But hey, I ain't going bankrupt promoting Terence Crawford. The question is, now this is when, as a man, he may be 88, 89 years old, but here's as a man, here's him saying, do we want to keep Terence Crawford? I heard what you said. I heard what your lawyer said. You know what? I could build a house in Beverly Hills on the money I've lost on him in the last 3 fights. He putting your business out on the street, Terence Crawford. What you think? He putting your business on the street. And he didn't just say a home. He said a beautiful home. Come on now. Bob Arum on Terence Crawford, he's got to promote like Lopez does, Shakur does, like Mayweather did, Pacquiao did. If he doesn't, then that's when he went into the quote. That's crazy. So he's basically saying Terence Crawford needs to get with the new social media age. He needs to get in front of the cameras. He needs to let people know what he's all about, what he does. And he doesn't need to sit there and just be quiet until his fight comes. And then the week of his fight, now you hear about Terence Crawford. So basically, Bob is telling Terence, you need to bring in money. I need more money. And Errol Spence is saying, I don't want to say anything about what your promoter Bob Arum said, but come on. I need to get the bigger line share because I am the bigger name to me. Even though the boxer writers from in ESPN and these people have Terence Crawford as number one pound for pound, when the people tune in, they are not tuning into a pay-per-view. Now on ESPN, they tune into Terence Crawford. And here's what people will say. Well, the reason they tune in there is because of the fact that ESPN already has a built-in audience. Football mostly would be the sport that's on before the boxing starts. And so you'll lose that audience, but then some of the people will just leave it on that channel. So then it can get the 1.7 million views or whatever, and then 2 million peak because it's already built in on ESPN. And that's what Bob Arum was kind of saying, that we already have a built-in system, a built-in audience. So I just promote you that way. But here's what I want to, because I like Errol Spence and I like Terence Crawford. So I'm going to say this for Terence Crawford. Isn't the job of the promoter is to promote you? And based on your personality and based on how you are, he'll have to step it up more or fall back some. Is that not what a promoter does? He's trying to get you the biggest fights and find you the money necessary to cover the fights. Now, in the social media age, these guys, they like to promote themselves. But if you know Bud Crawford is not that type of fighter, why would we ask that of him? Why would we not allow Bud Crawford to be Bud Crawford? And we use that fishing and doing wildlife stuff and dogs and things like that and use it. Like, think about Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. wasn't a guy who always wanted to do whatever, but when you get Roy Jones in front of the camera, he lights up the camera because of his personality. And they talked about his dogs and his farm and all his animals and the things he liked to do. He liked to fish as well. He was a country boy as well. So it worked for Roy Jones Jr. to a point, but his talent in the ring and how he beat people so flashy and dominated them superseded anything that he did outside of the ring. So Terence Crawford is similar, but not as flashy as Roy Jones. So therefore, Terence Crawford is not the biggest promoter, but in the promoter's job to know what to do. Like, look at Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, he has fighters. I mean, Eddie Hearn, he is stable of fighters. They don't always talk all the time. Even Bob Arum. Does Lomachenko promote himself? He doesn't. Does he even speak English? Canelo became a big star. Canelo's not speaking English. Canelo now has taken over his career because Oscar did all of the talking before. So we have instances where the person is not necessarily a big talker, and then you have the promoter who will talk for him. That's his job. So Bob Arum, find a number two. Because I understand you're 89, you don't want to get out, or 88, 89, you don't want to get out there all the time. Find a number two. Who is your number two? And get that person and his team to get promotion for Bud Crawford. That is your job to do that. Bud Crawford should not have to promote himself all the time. I mean, he should. And then Bud is fed up with the people who think they know boxing. So Terence Crawford, look at Terence. I don't know what's about to pop up, but okay, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how YouTube feels about that, but look at this. Terence Bud Crawford. Appreciate all the love and support from each and every one of you out there screaming Team Crawford and still all of the Terence Crawford fans. Enter the chat. Tell us why Bud Crawford deserves 50-50 and why it's ludicrous of Errol Spence to want 60-40. All of the Errol Spence fans out there, enter the chat. Let us know. Comment on the video afterwards or during and let us know why Errol Spence deserves 60-40. Why does he deserve the lion's share of the profits? Errol Spence, he's fought Mikey. He's fought Sean Porter. He's done what he needed to do to be a top welterweight. And there's a lot of factional people out there saying that Terence Crawford has done nothing at welterweight. He's fighting who's there. But everybody who loves boxing, they want to see the fight between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. Can we make this fight happen? Will this fight happen? Terence Crawford, he's not happy. Terence Crawford is not happy. He says, well, look like that fight will never happen. No good for Terence Crawford. Fans of boxing, do you think this fight will happen in 2022? Because next year, I can't see this fight happening unless it happens at the end of the year. If Errol Spence fights twice, if Terence Crawford fights twice, it'll be the end of 2021, middle of 2022 when they fight each other. Because the only way to be undisputed is for them to fight each other. There's no way around this, guys. Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, boxing is heating up. Are you not excited? Are you not excited? Are you not entertained? Look at Bud Crawford. I mean, he can do it all. He switches southpaw and lays down the law on Kell Brook. And he beat Jeff Horn, who cheated Manny Pacquiao to a pulp. He whooped him. Now Terence Crawford is saying, y'all treat me like Rodney Dangerfield. Like, I just need some respect. Where's my respect? Where's my respect? And Errol Spence is like, hey, man. Now, here's the thing. Danny Garcia is out there saying, Errol, did you forget about me? He's like, you forgot about me, didn't you? And Terence Crawford's like, you do know I am rated number 1 pound for pound and that I need my respect. I need my respect. So this is exciting to me. Boxing is just getting better and better and better. Errol Spence Jr. is promoting the fight. Danny Garcia is like, hey, man, don't forget about me. Here's the elephant in the room. Errol Spence got in that terrible car accident. His first fight back is pay-per-view against Danny Garcia? Who does that? That's how confident Errol Spence is in his abilities and in his talents. And he feels that he's going to go in there like he does with every other boxer they put in front of him. He smashed Kell Brook. He went in there. He destroyed Mikey Garcia. And he went in there and took care of Sean Porter by making a definitive punch to make Sean Porter's glove hit the canvas. And that's all he needed to get the victory. Team Errol Spence. Team Spence, where you guys at? Do you think 60-40 is fair and that Terence Crawford needs to shut up and take it and then get it on the back end on the rematch clause? Team Crawford, do you believe that it's disrespectful to even show, to even say that in the media, to even put that out there? Is it disrespectful? Now, Errol Spence has been through some things, and Errol Spence says that he's ready. Derek James says that he's ready. The only person who knows if they're ready is Errol Spence. And he won't know until he takes that first punch from Danny Garcia if he's back. That's really the elephant in the room. Is Errol Spence, will he go in the ring against Danny Garcia and completely turn into a boxer we've never seen before? Because when you get into a horrific accident such as that, you get thrown from your vehicle, you're hurt, you're recovering, your body is like, hey, man, let's get back. Do you think that Errol Spence has taken enough time to recoup, to heal, and get back on his feet? Because sometimes people come back from things and they look the part, they sound the part, they act out the part, and then you see them in the ring, and then all of a sudden things happen to them that we've never seen before. Never seen before. So I don't want this to be the case for our Errol Spence. I want him to be able to keep fighting. Hopefully, if he can get by Danny Garcia, because Danny Garcia is a formidable opponent. But if he does get by him, end of 2021, middle of 2022, I want to see Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. And it's up to them whether or not it is 50-50. Because from most accounts of the Athletic interview, Errol Spence did not just say it's 60-40 and that's the end of, I don't want to hear nothing else. But in negotiations, you have to start somewhere. He's just letting him know, I am the A side, no matter what you think, no matter what you're saying, I am the A side. And all Terence Crawford has to do is come back and be like, man, please, look at my accolades. Look at how I do what I do when I do what I do. I'm number one pound for pound per ESPN. Can't say nothing to me. You better be glad I'm even acknowledging you. So if you know anything about Terence Crawford, you know he's not going to back down. You know he's not going to back down. He's going to come in there and say, whatever Errol Spence can dish out to me, I can take it. I can adjust. See, I'm the one who has different levels. Errol Spence is all he does is have one gear. He doesn't know how to switch up. I can fight orthodox. I can fight southpaw. I can brawl. I can box. If I need defense, I can do defense. If you want to slug it out, I can slug it out. I'm strong as an ox. I'm country strong. I can squat so much. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. And Errol Spence is like, man, come on now. Errol's like, come on now, man. Like, what are we doing here? I'm gonna treat you like Mikey Garcia. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to beat you and batter you and show you I'm the best. Because basically what Errol Spence does is whatever you give him, he looks for an opening. Errol Spence is going to go to the body. He's going to go to the body. He's not going to not go to your body. And Terence Crawford is like, hey, I'm going to hit you where I need to hit you. So we just, as a boxing public, just want this fight so badly. And I don't think that we should be so alarmed that Errol Spence said that the fight should be 60-40. It's just an interview. It's our jobs to overreact. It's our jobs to jump on YouTube and do live chats like this just to get the pulse of the people. From you boxing connoisseurs like myself and to you boxing fans and even the casual boxing fans who don't know nothing about boxing. And that's who Terence Crawford was referring to when he said, it's crazy when somebody tell you to take less money when you're putting your life and health on the line. I don't want to hear nothing about taking a pay cut. What has Terence Crawford, what did he say on the Last Stand podcast? I don't take pay cuts. I just take names. What Bob Arum say? Terence Crawford got to promote like Lopez does. He has to promote like Shakur does. Like Mayweather did and Pacquiao. I don't remember Pacquiao's his humbleness, he's so nice outside the ring, and then he's a monster inside the ring with the punching power. That kind of promoted itself, because I don't remember Manny Pacquiao just sitting there speaking and spitting game like Adrian Broner or something like that. I don't remember that. But basically what he's saying is you need to get an aura about yourself, Terence Crawford. Basically, Bob Arum is saying Terence Crawford does not have an aura or a swag. Ouch. And he's saying, I don't really need you. I have other fighters. I've had fighters before you. I have fighters now, and I'll have fighters after you. That's basically what Bob Arum's saying. He's saying that, Terence Crawford, you are not everything. Even though you may be the best boxer in the world, you have to start generating money. So now let's get to the seriousness before we go. If it don't make dollars, what do they say? it don't make sense. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So Errol Spence is just saying, I didn't want to say what Bob said, but I'm making dollars and I'm making sense. You're making money, but you don't deserve 50-50 right off the bat. We're going to need to negotiate that. I think they are 1A, 1B, in whatever order you want to say. They are definitely the two best fighters at welterweight. And then I have Keith Thurman. If Keith Thurman just stopped getting hurt, stop worrying about the ponytail. Someone lay some hands on Keith Thurman and keep his body strong because he's always hurt. Errol Spence even said it. He says, Keith, you always hurt. And Keith Thurman can't get 2 consecutive fights without being hurt. But I digress. Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, end of 2021, summer of 2022. Who agrees with me? Who also agrees that Terence Crawford does not necessarily get all the respect that he deserves? I think Errol Spence is just like, I wasn't getting any respect. I just did what I needed to do. I signed who I needed to sign with. You re-upped with Top Rank. You re-upped. So you like the money that you're getting, but your own promoter is saying you're not pulling your weight on this deal. That's just, I mean, Floyd had to leave Bob Arum at some point in time. Even Floyd, Money Mayweather, because it was more money to be had. Canelo left Oscar De La Hoya. Why? Because he needed the money that he was owed. It says that Terence Crawford's contract will end in October 2021. I'm sure if he finds another partner or gets a deal a different way, they can buy Terence Crawford out. Terence Crawford does not need to stay in this Top Rank deal if he's not happy. It just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense. If you're this unhappy, find a way to get out. And I think that because Bob Arum said that they were close to the Pacquiao deal, and I think I read something today where Pacquiao said he'd be cool with the fight, just not next. That Pacquiao says he wants Mikey Garcia because it's a money fight and he knows that he can beat Mikey Garcia. So he feels Pacquiao's not afraid of Terence Crawford. He's used to being the small man. I believe that Bud just somehow, some way, he's a loyal guy and he wants to give Bob Arum an opportunity to come through because he is getting the money on the front end. It's just the money on the back end is where the promoter wants, and he's not getting that. And Bob Arum basically saying that, Terence, because I like you, because you're a good guy and you stayed with me and helped me make money in the past. Look at Bob looking at Terence. Man, you better make me some money. I think because Bob is loyal to him, Terence somehow feels obligated to be loyal to Arum, because if he can land that Pacquiao fight, that's career right there. Win or lose. And of course he feels he can beat Pacquiao now because Pacquiao is older. You're going to make a payday that's going to last you the rest of your life and your kids' lives. So everybody wants that Pacquiao fight. Errol Spence wants that Pacquiao fight. Thurman wants a rematch. So Manny Pacquiao is a suited. Who can woo Manny Pacquiao? Who can woo? Because we all know it's a sham that he lost the belt to Jeff Horn. That's why I'm glad Pacquiao got another belt back. Jeff Horn, I'm just going to leave it alone there. Bob Arum is upset because during the pandemic, he said he didn't want to lose any money. And guess what's been happening? He's been losing money. Teofimo Lopez complained because Bob Arum only gave him so much because that's all they could get, because Bob Arum has Teofimo Lopez, has Lomachenko as well. So he's loyal to who he's loyal to. And somehow, some way, you have to bring in money from somewhere in order to make Bob happy. Because if you don't, Bob's not going to be happy. And if Bob's not happy, Bob's going to let you go. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bob Arum, there's no loyalty in this game. When you're a promoter, your only obligation is to make money. Mucho dinero. You got to make those dollars. And so to Bob Arum, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And so Terence Crawford, all you have to do is negotiate. Terence Bud Crawford, negotiate. That's all you got to do. Just negotiate. If you negotiate, then you can get what you want. If not, people are going to keep saying, who has Bud Crawford faced? Again, I like both fighters. I'm a fan of both fighters. I'm a fan of boxing. So to me, I just want to see them fight. I don't care how it happens. I just want it to happen. I'm tired of the back and forth because I can get excited for something that you can see the end to, an end goal. But if this fight's not going to happen to a year and a half to 2 years from now, hey, this is just a formality. Maybe Errol Spence did this as a tactic to put out there to Terence Crawford to let him know, like, hey, man, you're not as hot in the streets as you think you are. You're not what you think you are. I am that guy. It is strap season. Man down. It's all about me right now, Terence. You're living in my world. I don't care what ESPN said about pound for pound. There ain't no way you can stop me. Sure, we're cool with each other. We don't have no real like man-to-man problem, but as far as skill-wise, I am that dude. I am that guy. I am number one. Even a car wreck can stop me. I don't take no tune-ups. I jump right in there with Danny Garcia. And I'm going to show Danny Garcia who I am. We're going to find out who Errol Spence is when he faces Danny Garcia, because Danny Garcia is not to be played with. Errol Spence, if he comes in there and he walks through Danny Garcia like he's done, not necessarily walk through, but if he comes in there and imposes his will like he does in all of his fights, he will impose his will at some point in time and he will pull away with the victory. Can he do that still? Because you never know when you get hit, when you get jarred, when you get tossed, when you run into things, when you have concussions and things of that nature, when your head gets hit, you don't know how you'll react into pressure situations. You may not have control of your faculties like you used to. And that's what Danny Garcia will let us know. Is Errol Spence still Errol Spence? Man, I'm looking forward to this. These two are the top fighters right now of their time. And hopefully we can get a fight. Please comment and let me know what you think. Until next time, it's Pedro Justice.